Welcome to the Calm the Storm, the Whimsy podcast, where we explore transformative ideas and practices from Kent and Heather McKean's The Metanoia Method.
In each episode, we'll dive into key concepts from the book, discussing how we can apply these insights to our daily lives and foster deeper connections with ourselves and others.
As we go through today's discussion, we invite you to think about how these concepts apply to your own life. Let's dive into our discussion.
All right, we're talking about Chapter 9, which is the call to remember, and we decided we're only going to talk about half of it on this episode because there's just so much. And I love to think back to when we first decided to do Metanoia. And Crystal and I are like, oh, it doesn't need to be like an in-depth study. It could just be like a quick review of things. Well, let's do 3 chapters at a time. Kelly's like, guys, that's not going to work. Like, it'll be fine. We don't have to talk about all of it. And now we're breaking up chapters.
We had no idea that it was going to be that in-depth.
It's pretty in-depth.
Deep.
So it's super deep.
Yeah.
There's
super
a lot
good
to process. And especially with this chapter.
Yeah.
It's just mind-blowing, honestly.
Yeah. It's all about our brains, and it hurts. It hurts my brain.
I'm pretty sure
mine
I
too.
sent you multiple brain exploding emojis this week. So
Yes.
First of all, I couldn't find my book. So then I got nervous because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to Google this, find a chapter 9 somewhere to read it because I can't find it. And then second of all, yeah, I haven't been a huge fan. And now all of a sudden, when I had to separate myself from the spiritual aspect and the mind aspect, then I have allowed myself to enjoy it. So,
Yeah.
Well, and that's why we say there's a big difference between reading a book and reading the Bible,
absolutely.
Yeah.
which is why you can separate the spiritual out of this.
Absolutely. Because this is not the Bible. It has spiritual things in it, and it has scripture that go very well with things. But yeah, it's definitely a book that is mind changing.
Blowing. Mind hurting. So where do we start?
Oh, I have so many things.
Well, it looks like we all have the beginning highlighted.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He knows what we populate our mind's memories with, which directly influence the choices we make down the line. God wants his people to remember what he has done for them. And then I skip down to neuroscience tells us that we practice and focus on what will become the filters through which we see the world.
And then it kind of talks about how God put these ceremonies in place in the Bible for the Israelites to remember him. And they still didn't remember him.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my goodness. Is that because they had their mind was clearly set on other things?
Right.
And so once a year they would remember, and that was what what were they remembering? So all of that. But I'm like, this is crazy that he put these things in place for them to remember, and that's all they did.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything else with it.
It did make me analyze the Last Supper and doing communion a lot more, though, because it talks about how our memories are stronger when all the senses are involved.
Yes.
And the way that we do communion, for me, that's one thing that is I can't just being in church your whole life. It's easy to just go through the motions of things, but that's one thing I feel like I don't ever just go through the motions.
I agree.
And it's because of the way that we do it. So there's all of those senses that you're using, the taste and the smell and the touch and all of it. And just the way you stop to process where you're at with God before you take it. And it just makes you really focus on, I don't know, what you're doing differently. The memory of it and what God has done for us stands out more because of how you practice communion.
Because in church, it's okay, communion, everybody take the wafer, take the juice.
Yeah.
And it's just you go through these motions. You get up, you file up there, you grab your stuff, you sit down.
Yeah.
But someone in our crazy church
taught us to really reflect
Yeah.
and think about what he's done. And I don't feel like, I don't know if that was like a youth pastor or what, but it was always more than, like, I remember as a teenager it becoming more than just, okay, you're a Christian, you can take communion, go up and get the bread and the juice, and we'll do this together.
Yeah.
Right.
So I try to like really tell my kids the same thing,
Yeah.
because it's not just something, emotion that you want to go through.
Right.
I agree. So like, I feel like a couple weeks ago in church, Pacey was sitting with us and we were getting ready to have communion. And I don't think that he has taken communion before. Maybe he had, I'm not sure, because he's usually in like youth group or things, but high school right now is out for the summer. Like their youth group stuff is only happening on Sunday nights. And so he has to attend service with us, which I have really liked for him to be able to be with us that way. But just remembering, like explaining to him while we were sitting like in the pews, like this is what's going to happen. This is how you do it. But this moment in time while you're taking the cup, while you're eating the bread, is a time to repent, to focus on what Jesus has done for you, and to remember, like it talks in here, like the victory and the freedom that we have in Christ. And so like that was kind of a fun moment for me to like be able to explain that to him a little bit more in detail. Like he knows what communion is, he's learned what communion is, but just to have those like little extra moments of being like, this is a time to remember.
Right.
And it's not just at Passover.
Right.
It's not just at that one time a year now that you do it at Easter when you're remembering what he did.
Yeah.
But like that this should be often.
Right. So it was one thing that we've done in our home church a lot is we will read the scripture, and it's funny because Leo like knows the scriptures by heart now, because he would read it a lot for the church, or the kids would take turns, like Liza and Leo, they would read, and then just teaching that reflection. And then when we go, every year we go to the Stations at the Cross at Cornerstone, and we really we take it, and a lot of people just take it and they go through all the stations. We sit down, reflect, and then do that together as a family. So
Yeah. Well, and I think that it, like the whole point of them talking about this and the other like ceremonies that you were talking about is that it doesn't just become something you do, but it makes you remember why you're doing it, what God did for us. And I think that like in a lot of churches, you're a Christian, you can take communion, but really you're supposed to stop and say like, am I right with God where I'm at right now? And it really makes you reflect too while you're remembering.
Yeah.
And then next it talks about God wants us to focus our minds and hearts on things above. He wants our minds to be filled with excellent and praiseworthy things. What we think and hold in our minds will inevitably bring about the fruit that we produce.
So this was hard because this year hasn't been like a super easy year. I feel like it's always the medical bills or this or that. And I have found myself way too many times focusing on the hard, the struggle, the persevering, the fighting. And I'm like, what am I doing? Of course that's going to keep happening. Of course I'm going to be stuck in this rut, and I'm going to feel like it's never ending.
Yeah.
So what would happen if I stopped focusing on all those things and just started focusing on the promises God has and how wonderful life is?
Right.
But I also think about it too in your situation of having a lot of things happening, is that you can take that and in the future too, remember like when it's really good. Oh, hey, we struggled here in these moments, and this is how we glorified God through that. Because I think that that's, having the praiseworthy thoughts and mind in the hard times is only going to remember how good it is later.
Yeah. Well,
Even when it's hard.
Right.
I think that it's funny though that it says what we think and hold in our minds will bring about the fruit that we produce. And this might sound silly, but like it just makes me think about something as simple as like my husband makes a funny face, and automatically what I'm holding in my mind is he's annoyed, he's mad, he's irritated.
Oh,
so
man.
then I that comes out of me. And then that's the fruit I produce, because now he's annoyed, he's mad, and he's irritated.
And he might not have been.
Right.
Yeah.
When really, maybe I could have been thinking in my head, my husband just came home from a really long day at work where he's providing for us, working hard even though he's tired. And his face genuinely might have been,
I'm tired.
And
It's loud in here.
And it's loud in here. But like, not where I took it, not what I produced out of that moment. And so, like, I love that we talked about that verse, like, what is true? What is noble? Like, I really, really want to train my mind to ask those questions.
Same.
Because if I stopped and said, what is true? As soon as I felt like that, it probably would be, oh, he just worked a really long day. That's what's true.
Yeah.
Like,
In that moment.
Yeah.
I wrote that verse down, and I have it in my bedroom, like on my bulletin board. And I'm trying to teach my children. So every time something comes up about like a negative thing, or, you know, just in general being negative, or how they're responding to something, or how they're reacting, just to be like, is this honorable? Is this worthy of God's prayer? Like, all of those things, just being very focused on that, because we are what we produce.
Yeah.
So when it comes out of us, that's who we're going to be, unless we train it to be different.
Right.
And so I'm trying to train my children and myself in those moments. Like, and then when I recognize, oh, what I just did is not good, then I need to say, hey guys, like, I wasn't thinking of the good thing. I wasn't thinking of, you know, the praiseworthy attributes. And
What is the first part of that verse? Where does it start? Do you guys remember?
What, Philippians 4:8?
Yeah.
it talks about whatever is
True.
Is true the first word?
I believe so.
Because I feel like if we asked ourselves that question first,
We'd stop ourselves from a lot.
from getting into the things that weren't noble and weren't honorable, and you know what I mean? Like,
Well, yeah, because they're
What is
not true.
Honorable, just, pure, lovely, condemnable, and of good report.
yeah. So I feel like if we stopped ourselves first before we go down the road of negative fruit
Yeah.
and said, wait, what is actually true? We could stop ourselves from going down that rabbit hole.
And it's interesting to me that this verse shows up
So
almost
much.
every chapter.
Yeah.
Even if it's not in the chapter itself, it is telling us that we need to be thinking about these things, setting your mind on things above.
Right.
Like, set it and run with it. Now, we're human, so that's not going to happen every time, but
Yeah.
it's an amazing training process.
Well, and we should be asking each other that as friends,
Sure.
and asking our kids that, and asking ourselves that. Like, and as friends, we tend to want to just be on each other's side or make each other feel better. But like, when we can see, you know, each other, maybe there's time for that, but there's time also for us to be like, whoa, like, this is not healthy for you.
Right.
What is true? Like, ask yourself that right now in this moment.
In this moment, what is
Yeah.
actually true about the situation?
Right.
And maybe even write them down. Like, because it could be a ton of things that are actually true. Mm-hmm. And then the one thing that's not true.
Yeah.
That we're focusing on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was very profound. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we've talked each other off cliffs before.
Yes, we sure have.
Okay. So are you still, what page are you on?
I'm on 166, but I'm
Okay.
done with that.
I have to say something.
Say something.
It says the more senses we involve in the creation of a memory, the more powerful and permanent it becomes. Visual, kinesthetic, auditory, olfactory, and gustatory. I don't know.
Gustatory.
Okay, so I get it. I get why Disney is so strong in my memory, because they hit those things.
Okay.
In the hotel, they're blowing smells through the hotel. So you have the music, you have the sights, you have the smells, you have the tastes of all the Disney treats. Like, that's a big thing. Like the Mickey ice cream bar, it's all there.
Yeah.
So, like, when you put all those things together, the memory is so vivid and so strong.
Interesting.
which is why I think people like going there. And it's like escape from like reality, honestly. You get all these things, and those are the things that you remember. You don't remember that you have an oil change on Wednesday and you have a doctor's appointment on Tuesday. Oh, and I better pay this bill and that bill. You get there and it's like,
yeah,
this is amazing.
Everything goes away.
Everything goes away.
And maybe that's why my memories of Disney are not as strong, because I stay in the $200 hotel off property where I don't smell the same things as you.
Like each resort has a smell, which is crazy. Each resort has a smell. They sell candles for like Pop Century and Polynesian and the Grand Floridian and the Contemporary.
That's the smell that the candle is in?
They pump the smell.
So you can bring it home?
Yes. I need to get a Pop Century candle.
And then I take loaves of bread instead of eating the Mickey treats. And try to make my own sandwiches in 100-degree
the
heat.
Mickey pretzels. Like it's funny because like the times that are like ingrained in my head, we're sitting on a bench, hearing all the sights, like the sounds, the sights, the smells, eating treats. Those are my favorite memories. Eating a donut, eating a Mickey pretzel at the Mickey bar. Like those are the memories that I remember the most, because we take a minute from all the crazy, we enjoy that food together, and
that's crazy.
Because if you ask my kids what their favorite moments are,
that's it.
They're going to tell you, oh, I love when we sat in the fake grass over by Casey's Corner. You could see the castle and the parade goes by, and like we're eating our hot dogs and
That's crazy. It's funny because I have some very memorable memories as well. And mine as a kid, just all of those things hit, but it's not Disney.
Right.
So it's just funny because mine is boating. And so like I have this, like when I'm on a boat, I smell Lake Erie, because I grew up on a boat at Lake Erie and the beach that's there, which is really nasty. And but you have these memories in your head, and like all the things that happened on our boat was like all of my childhood in my head. And it's crazy because those are like where would be like, oh, I want to be on a boat.
We're going to go back to Disney real quick.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you think that not even Disney, but what we were talking about, do you think that there is a sense, though, that is stronger than the others for you? That will take you back somewhere?
Oh, yes.
Smells.
Yes.
I think it is smells. What about you?
No, mine is definitely visual.
Okay.
Although I do smell things sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a smell that I have to share.
Yeah, tell
when
me.
we moved into our first house, it was an older house. I think it was built in the 50s. But there's just the smell when you walk in.
Yeah.
I mean, it smelled like an old house, like grandma house, or like a little musty, but not, I don't know. It just had this distinct smell. And every now and then, when we'll be somewhere, I'll smell it and I'll be like, it's just like this calming, like...
Yeah.
It was this first house for us, and it meant so much to us. And Lenny, if he smells it, he's like, Magador house. I'm like, yep.
That's so funny. There's smells that take me back to Russia.
Oh, like what?
Mission trips. I mean, like BO. Because not very many people had deodorant.
true,
But it's like a good memory, though.
Yeah.
So, like at that wedding on Saturday, you're like, hey, Kelly,
Let's go
come a little closer.
Every time you wear that shirt, I smell Russia. Garlic is another one. Takes me back to like a grandma's house, like a great grandma's house.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's just funny how smells do that.
So I can say the smell for sure. Actually, now that you say that. So there was a part in this book, and we'll get to it, but where it talks about, and I'm not sure if we're almost there or not, but like how memories take you back to places. So like when you're in your childhood home in your mind, is it the smell? Is it the visual?
Yeah.
So for me, I can visualize everything
Same.
in my family home. But the smells of my grandma's home are intense. So like my mom used to have her old like hutches and cabinets, and when we would open them, it smelled like my grandma's house.
Yeah.
When we open the pictures, I know this sounds so crazy, the pictures that have been in storage for a long time, and we open the books, it smells like my grandma's house. Like so weird. And so like those bring me back to my grandma's things, but my visual, like my memories of my parents, like our very first house is very visual for me.
So there's a reason we're splitting this chapter in half.
Yes.
It's because we've gotten through 2 pages
Right?
so far.
Right. I don't know how long this is. There's so much.
Okay, I have to share something that was like a major moment for me. It says, why was it emphasized in the Old Testament to write God's law on the heart and mind? These figurative expressions stressed always keeping, and storing is in parentheses, the law, which is God's heart and will for humankind, in the most inner and secure places from which everything flows. The book of Psalms has examples of this concept. In many of the Psalms, the authors are in some sort of agony, pouring out their hearts in the midst of trouble. Yet somewhere near the middle of the Psalm, they remember God and what he has done and how they have been rescued before. They remember the great deeds of the Redeemer. So as I was reading through an example, this is Psalm 77, 7-9. It starts with, will the Lord reject forever? Will he never show his favor again? Has his unfailing love vanished forever? Has his promise failed for all time? Has God forgotten to be merciful? Has he in anger withheld his compassion? And so I stop right there because I wrote the first thing. A lot of these are written by, Psalms written by different people, right?
Yeah, so I think David has a lot of psalms.
Right, and so he is a hot mess.
Hot mess.
But labeled as a man after God's own heart.
Yes.
And so when I read that, the first thing I thought was, he's so honest. And he is like, he's allowed to be. Like, so when I pray, I feel a lot of times like I have to say the right things and I can't just be honest with how I'm feeling or what I'm experiencing or, you know, even how I feel about God and what feel like I'm missing out on because of him or what he's not showing me.
Right.
Like that's so honest, but I'm scared to be that honest when I pray. But then when he moves on, the next thing says, I will remember the deeds of the Lord. I will remember your miracles of long ago. I will consider all of your works. And I wrote, he hasn't yet. He's saying he will. He's choosing to remember those things. And then he moves on to question them. What God is as great as our God? He's reminding himself, like, what is true? That's what he's doing. He's asking himself, what is true? And then after he finished asking questions, he moves on to speaking truth in his call out to God. So it's okay for us to go through that process because I feel like so often when I pray, I just pray the way I feel like I'm supposed to instead of taking myself from honest to making choices to asking questions to remind myself of truth and then speaking truth. Does that make sense? Like if we went through that process, maybe we could actually renew our mind instead of just say, help me renew my mind. Well,
why? Like, why should my mind be renewed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's interesting because I think that we feel like we're supposed to perform a specific way in order to be heard or seen by God, even though we might not even believe that, but like in our prayers,
right?
If we were earnestly on our knees praying these prayers where it says here, will the Lord reject me forever? Will he never show his face again or his favor? Unfailing love will vanish forever. Like all of those questions, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like this shows us that we can ask those questions and then remember.
But don't stop there.
Don't stop. Don't stop in the agony.
Yeah.
Allow the remembrance of what God has already done to redo again for you.
Right.
Crazy.
What else do you got over there, Kelly?
Oh, I just have written here, like, we just need to, like, what would happen if we honestly meditated and remember what God has done for us every single day? How would it change our days?
What is a memory?
I don't know anymore.
I know.
Are they real? Are they not real? Did it happen this way?
Extremely powerful and important to humans. What?
Yeah.
It is continuously shaping and reshaping our brain, our life, and our identity.
So I love all the breakdowns, but I don't know how to pronounce them.
I don't either.
So I'm going to spell them. The Amygdala. Who wants to take a stab at how to say that? Kelly?
What?
Amygdala.
I have no idea. Just say it real fast. Lenny always says say things real fast and then act like you know what you're saying.
Amygdala.
Sounds right.
Yeah. It's involved in fear and fear-filled memories. It is responsible for regulating our fight, flight, freeze response. And stress hormones influence that storage. So we probably, Kelly and I at least, have a lot of amygdala
Yeah.
working against us.
That's interesting. So where do you go? Flight, fight, or freeze? In those moments.
Fight.
Do you?
And flight. It depends on the moment.
Sometimes I think you freeze.
Well, flight would be like hiding, wouldn't it?
Yes, but like say for instance, so we're looking at like Hudson falls in the pool.
And I freeze while you save his life.
While I save his life.
Kelly
That's
finds
me,
a tick on her
yes.
face, and I freeze. Maybe I do freeze. I freeze in those stressful
In
moments.
those stressful moments. But I do think that you fight for certain things too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I see freeze.
I think I freeze in super high stress, like when Grant was born. I just froze.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah.
It depends on what.
It depends on what it is, what
Yeah.
the moment is. You can handle and fight, and sure, you'll run from some things, but like, those super high moments where you are like, I do not know what to do.
Yeah.
You freeze.
Yeah.
I'm a freeze and a flight. Like the tick was on my head. I tried to jump off the couch. I did not freeze. I was out. And then,
I don't think you freeze, actually.
well, here's where I freeze.
you
When it involves my kids and I feel like that something's wrong, I freeze because I don't know how to respond. So like yesterday, Ike had Leo's lizard out because she's watching the lizard while Leo's at camp.
Sure.
And he was taking it upstairs, and then I hear Ike screaming, and I'm like, yeah, Liza, go, Liza, go. I don't know why. So Liza went up. She's like, it's fine, Mom. Like, everybody's okay. I'm like, okay, and then I can find out what's going on.
That's hilarious.
Well, what are you, a fighter?
I am.
I'm not a fighter.
Yeah. My
Maybe.
first reaction to everything is to fight. I will punch
Is that
you.
why you try to fight me all the time?
Yeah,
Kristen?
I'll punch you. If, like literally, when
She
I was on
doesn't
a
try to
run,
fight you because you freeze.
Yeah, she's like, no, she's flight. She's gone. See ya. Remember that time when we were in the parking lot and the police came? She was gone.
Yep, gone.
But I just think about like certain things. So like my friend Kim and I, our friend, I should say, Kim and I were on a run and we were in not a safe area. And my first thought was, okay, so I'm running, I'm like 4 miles in. This is not safe. I could not fight anybody off. But what would I do? Because I'm already thinking, and I'm like, I'll pee on him.
Peeing in public.
Literally. And then that was like the next question the next day because I was like, oh, that would totally be me because I pee every run I run on. But I couldn't fight, but I was still going to fight
somehow,
Or I was going to take off my water belt and hit somebody with it. So, like, those are my thoughts. I'm never in a frozen moment.
Yeah.
But I don't know why.
I feel like all of the times we like ask these questions, I'm like, I'm all three because I can see myself being different in every scenario. So the next one I feel like is easier to pronounce. Hippocampus is associated with declarative and episodic memory as well as recognition memory. Its main job is to project information to what cortical regions that give memories meaning and connect them with other interconnected memories. Our brains are crazy. The cerebellum plays a role in processing procedural memories, such as how to play the piano. The prefrontal cortex appears to be involved in remembering semantic tasks. There also appear to be specific neurotransmitters involved in the process of memory, such as epinephrine, dopamine, serotonin, glutamate, and I don't know how to say the last one, acetylcholine. It's just like...
Nice job.
Thanks. It was really fast. I don't know. All of the stuff.
And it says those are the exact mechanisms responsible for creating all our overall well-being.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes to say, if you are diagnosed with depression, that is the direct outcome of an imbalance somewhere in your system. It is hard to miss the direct correlation between our memories and our well-being overall.
What if our memories and the information they contain could be the answer to unlocking complete wellness and healing in our mind, body, and spirit?
So the lady who wrote this book was like bedridden.
Really?
Bad. Like, did not think she would ever get well. So it's just crazy to see her, like, she went through all of this and done all of this, and now you would never know that she was, like, bedridden and super sick. And
yeah. And we never know what people are going through. So that's the other thing. So, like, to think, like, somebody who wrote this book, like, was bedridden and now is healthy and vibrant.
Right.
So I wrote here, and Hillary's not going to like this.
Cool.
So it says here, what if our memory, so we read this, but what if our memories are the information that could be answered to unlocking complete wellness and healing, like Kelly said, in our mind, body, and spirit? And I said, I believe it. Crazy as this sounds, it goes along with chapter 8 about how our emotions are created. But it's so true.
Right.
Because if we create our emotions, we create the memories that go along with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is where I started like sending the emojis of like my mind being blown.
But couldn't it be how we respond to our emotions create the memories that we have? Not the initial emotion.
Wait, what? I think it could be the initial emotion that create it, though.
I don't know. The initial emotion just happens in my mind. But my mind is messed up. We're learning that.
No.
No, I'm telling you
refresh my memory on chapter 8.
That's the one I yelled the whole time.
So
because you can't choose how you feel.
Yes.
In my mind. You can choose how you respond to how you feel.
So we were saying that like in chapter 8, we could create our emotions. So when somebody does something to us, we create the emotion that we are...
No, you were saying that. I was not.
Yes, that we create the emotion that is happening based on somebody doing something to us.
By the way we react.
And so in that...
That isn't what you were saying, though.
Well, we react based on the emotion that we created, for sure.
Okay. You're saying that we created.
Yes. So we create the emotion.
I create lots of emotions that are not good. So,
and then we react to the scenario based on the emotion that we created, which then creates the memory the way that we want it to be.
See, this is a little over my head.
Eek.
I'm
Scary.
still not completely there.
I know you're not. It's okay. I said you wouldn't like it.
And I don't. You were right. So the how of the memory is the next thing. And it's when it talks about all of the 5 senses.
Yeah.
Sight, feeling, hearing, smell, and taste. And I circled like all the different ways that they explain this. So linguistic programming. Neuro refers to your neurology. Linguistic refers to language. Programming refers to how that neural language functions. In other words, learning NLP is like learning the language of your own mind. It refers to the 5 senses as representational systems and uses the terms visual, what we see, auditory, what we hear, kinesthetic, what we feel, auto-digital, words that we say to ourselves, olfactory, smell, and gustatory, taste. As we take in information from any of these senses, the brain uniquely encodes that information. The term representational systems comes from the observation that we will represent our memories from one of these modes. So could it be, though, that we automatically feel a certain way because of past memories that we remember wrong.
I think so.
I think so. For sure. Because I think that that's the mind shift. Right there is remembering them correctly and then recreating that memory to be the good, like, or whatever it actually is, the truth, which is the mind shift, I think. Right? I don't know. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
Especially when you're not like these are not things that I've learned before.
Right. I can't even with this. So if you have things to say, you can talk about it.
I personally don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
But we can talk about we could just say it. So like all of this, the way that we receive the data from an external event, how it's filtered and stored, which we already talked about, how we have all those files in our brains, how our hormones react, causes the psychological response, the feeling, the emotion, sensation, body responses, creates our state of being, our mood, behavior, reactions, and perceptions, which then our behavior is who we are. How we are is who we are.
What? See, I feel like that contradicts what we just talked about. This tells me.
No, I don't. I think it says exactly what it's supposed to say.
That you just read?
Oh, it's this guy's head here.
I don't know. Maybe I just don't. I don't know.
So I think it's exactly what we're saying, but that's because that's from my perspective. So I understand it as being like, so this part right here where it says the psychological response, we're creating that
based on the chemical reaction, which is what I think I'm saying. If this, my system response is not something I choose. Do you see what I'm saying? If it's coming, I'm not saying it can't be changed at all.
No, I think that the part starts back at the file data. So when your mind is correct, you're going to file it correctly. So then the hormones then respond correctly, and then the emotion comes out the way that you create it to be.
Then I for sure can't choose how I feel right now because things are not stored correctly.
That's true.
That's all I'm saying.
I think that that's truth.
Okay.
For everyone. Because when I say all these things that I believe it, don't hear me say that I got this all right. Do you know what I'm saying? That, I know how to change the chemical imbalance in my brain to do that. Like, I don't know how that works.
Right.
And I'm not doing it right. And so, like, I don't want you to be like, oh, she's got it all.
So when I look at this, it says data received, and then my brain, I just see a big distort, and then it goes from there and trickles down.
Hers is like mush.
Yeah, I gotta get this under control. For real.
Never gets to the other parts.
I'm gonna end up bedridden because I can't get past these stupid distort files. I'm serious.
I mean, I think that that's truth, right?
Yes.
Because
like stress isn't good for your health.
That's ultimately what happens.
Yes.
Is that we have these. I mean, this is crazy for these people to say in this book that depression is
chemical,
which we know. We know.
Right.
But if we have the power within us to create that to be different, that's game changer.
Yeah.
Game changer.
It says here, our mistake is in believing that memories, as we recall them, are shown exactly as they were encoded, but it's not always true.
Oh, yeah, right?
We write in our minds how we think things happen, but it's not necessarily how it happened. So then, the next paragraph, which you guys are going to love this, because I'm bringing this up right now. Most of us are familiar with the fact that our ancestors believed the world to be flat. What if it is flat, but everybody comes along and tries to change everybody's mind? What if our ancestors know? I'm serious.
I mean,
because they were told.
By who?
By who?
I mean, so this is the thing. So I don't think that this is a conversation that we have to dissect right
No,
now,
we're
but
not,
it's
but
true.
I'm just saying.
I mean, it says it right here. Because someone said something, then we believe it to be different now.
I'm not saying I believe that the world is flat.
Right.
But I'm just saying.
But that's just a small
It's just another
piece.
memory thing. They were for sure thinking that the world was flat. So what changed? And I'm sure there's science
They
and
got
all
on
the
the
things.
boat and went around. I don't know.
I mean, think about the dog that his legs got ran over. Those little dogs just grew up thinking, "Oh, well, I have to walk like this because my mom walks like this."
Mm-hmm.
Freeze. Freeze. I'm frozen.
I had to say
No,
it.
it's so good though. But I do. So I wrote like, this is so interesting, and then it goes on in that same the next paragraph. It says, well, actually at the bottom. So remembering is basically assessing and replaying those old video recordings that seem reasonable, right? It might seem reasonable, but it's wrong. And then it goes down to talk about misinformation effect, eyewitness memory, and creation of false memories. Like, this is insane. And then my personal comment was, what is your reaction to memories are not real? Like, what is your reaction to that?
I don't like that because then I'm like, what have I thought is wrong in my life that what have I distorted with my memory that has made me who I am today? Because this might not be who I'm supposed to be right now because I distorted something and I process that as this happened when it may not have happened the way that I thought it happened in my brain.
It's subjective. What?
So weird.
How are memories subjective? That's the part that I cannot get beyond. Subjective.
Our memories are constructive. They're reconstructive. Memories work a little bit more like a Wikipedia page, it says.
Yeah. It
You
could just
can
be
go in
edited.
there, you can change it, but so can other people.
That's so weird. Okay, right here. It says, memories we choose to hold on to are the ones that go on to shape our identity. Mm-hmm. So what memory has distorted me so bad that I keep distorting things?
What memory that isn't real?
Yeah. Right. That's what I'm
So
saying.
that's the other thing. So, like, have you ever experienced, like, this is my memory of a situation, and everyone in my family has experienced the same thing.
Yes.
We all were there, but we all
think
have
something different.
very different experiences based on that memory. We have the memory, but we all felt it, and we're living it very different. And some of those memories define who we are, and some of those memories don't define those people at all. But we all had the same memory.
Yeah.
So
It's
weird.
really weird. Like Naomi was saying something the other day. I can't remember what it was, but she's like, "Oh yeah, we were here when this happened, and this is where we were staying." I'm like, "That isn't where we were staying." But in her mind, she believes this is what we were doing and this is where we were, and that isn't the same thing that I remembered.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of times where, like, Aaron's brother will have a memory, and I just know this because they talk about it a lot, but, like, Aaron's brother will have a memory, and it's so vivid to him. And Aaron's mom and Aaron were like, that never happened to you.
Crazy.
Like, that didn't happen. And he's like, it's like almost as if that's the defining moment of who he is, and that's his, like, memory. And they're like, that never happened.
I wish I could have a talk with my subconscious. Like I want to go back and forth. Because this talks about this girl.
So can I tell you? I think you can.
Really?
I do.
Will it answer me?
Probably.
What? This is getting crazy.
No, I do think that you can have that conversation with yourself inside.
Well, I'm ready because she's talking about how her childhood was rough. But it says in reality, there were arguably difficult traumas in my memory bank. There were far more positive references stored to keep me safe. My subconscious mind had blocked off most of my positive childhood moments. And then it says memory is subjective, pliable, malleable. Stored files of our past experiences can be edited and distorted rather easily. Lab research shows that by suggestion and imagination, we can actually create memories. These memories, in quotation marks, can be very elaborate and filled with emotion, even though they are completely false. While I was reading this, I was literally like sighing. I'm like... like over and over. I was so overwhelmed. And my husband's like, what is happening over there? And I'm like, there's so much I wonder about you Sorry.
I read your text wrong. I thought you said you were signing on the couch.
Sighing.
And I'm like, what
Sign
signs
language.
is she holding
I was
up?
really losing my mind. I was signing on the couch. No.
Oh my gosh.
I was sighing because I'm like, there's so much about him that I wonder now.
Yes.
There's so much about me that I wonder. My kids, my family, like, there's so much that I want to know more about. And because this talked about during the 9/11 terrorist attack.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody remembers seeing smoke out the window at school, but she wasn't anywhere near it to be able to see the smoke.
Is that not crazy?
is crazy.
I know.
No,
There's all kinds of crazy
that part,
stories.
so I wrote here
from that day.
So memories may not have even happened.
Because you
What?
just imagine it and then remember it.
And then I put, can your memory be formed by someone else saying something?
Yes, I think
Yeah.
it can, which is crazy.
Right? So how many of my memories are actually things that happened to me or things that happened to my parents that are my memories because they told me about them?
So why is it that there's so much of my childhood I can't remember at all? Like, it's just gone. Like, I don't remember so many things. And my sister's similar.
Well, I think it talks about it, and I'm not exactly sure where. So I'll just say it, and then we could talk about it
The
later.
blocking out of
But
memories?
it talks about how you could be in school
Oh, yeah.
and be listening as if you are
Totally
like,
focused.
totally focused, taking everything in and remember nothing.
That's me. That
and
is
so
me.
I thought of you when I read that part because I was actually not paying attention, but I remember everything around me.
That's what I
My
would
whole
say
life.
too. Yeah.
Nothing. I have no idea. Like, I never retained a single thing that my teacher would teach me or taught me or anything, but I can remember everything that was happening to me in that classroom or where I was and all of the things that were happening. So it's just so crazy to think that we do that to our childhood. Not even in a classroom, but just in general. Like,
But I wonder for you specifically, and it's funny because we joke about your distorted files, but I think I have way more than I'm willing to admit after reading this chapter. But I think for you though, like, because even now we'll do something and a week later, or even that night, you're like wanting us to tell Lenny the story or Crystal the story. And you're like,
Oh, yeah.
Hillary,
I
tell
don't
him because I
remember.
don't remember. I honestly think there's just too much up there. Like that you won't like process through and let go of for more to like.
so honestly, they're probably not in the distorted. They're in the to be filed.
Yeah, like
They're
I
just not
can't
filed
process
yet.
it right now.
Yeah, they're not distorted.
Yeah.
They're like too much.
Yes.
Too much.
Yeah.
My brain shutted. My brain shut off long ago.
Yeah. So much.
Oh my gosh. Like,
And we've been talking for a long time already.
we're getting close. We're getting close.
I wrote down, this is terrifying. Memories affect so much and they can be wrong. They affect your relationships. They affect whether you'll have pets in your home. They affect like how you interact with other people, things that people say, like your response to things, and they might not even be real memories. That is insane. Insane. Like I'm processing so many things that I'm like, nope.
Well,
One
and
of these
I
days,
yeah.
you're going to end up with a dog and you're going to love it.
I wrote in
I have a lot of work to do before I get
this
there.
Same part that we're talking about. So I wrote crazy, literally like 6 places all over here. This is crazy, crazy, crazy. Because it's crazy. Like, we're fabricating these things in our head to create an environment in which we wanted or didn't want. Because I wrote, I would believe everything was great all the time. There was nothing ever wrong. And I look back and I'm like, oh, there was actually things that were wrong.
Yeah.
Same.
But like in my brain, my childhood was the best childhood I've ever had. Now, was I abused? Absolutely not. Were my parents mean? No. But there's life. Like things
Yeah.
are not good. Like
And they're
death
they are
happens.
human.
Like,
Yeah.
all of this stuff, all of the things that surrounded me. My parents loved me.
Oh, yeah.
But I created this environment for myself that was like, you're not going to touch me. I'm good. Everything is great. It's good. Because
But your subconscious did that, and why?
why?
Yeah.
Because I'm a 7 and I'm fearful. And I needed to create an environment in my head that allowed me to be safe.
So right here
What?
it says, to keep me safe, my subconscious mind had blocked off most of my childhood memories. So I'm like, what is my subconscious blocking off things from? Why? I had a wonderful childhood, just like you.
Yeah.
My parents love me. Have good family. Like, it's just so weird. But if you talk to me about our childhood and you talk to my sister about our childhood, completely different stories. My sister thinks we had a good childhood, but we had a lot of rough times.
Sure.
So she's like, I remember when we would buy a 50-pound bag of rice and that's what we would eat every single meal. I don't remember that at all. I just remember a good childhood. I kind of vaguely do remember that. I don't know. I know my dad lost a job, like a really, really good job. He was the vice president at Motorola. Lost his job because he walked away on value, and we struggled and had no money. And my sister was older, so she remembers all the things that we went through. I was kind of just like going along thinking things were okay. Just weird.
But maybe you heard bits and pieces because, like, you know how like our parents will talk and you overhear things,
Yeah.
or so maybe you heard enough even that you're like, oh, that sounds scary.
Yeah, I don't know.
Subconscious.
Well, and then we just all react differently. So, like, the things that my my mom has some, had a rough, like, sisters. She has rough sisters, and they're into a lot of things and so forth. And that was our whole life. So, like, was I blocking all of that out, creating my environment to be safe and good and happy because I couldn't imagine, like, living that way.
Yeah.
And so, like, nothing at our home. My home was so safe. My home was
Same.
great. I loved everything about my childhood. And I would tell you to this day that is, like, if I could go back, that's where I would be. Like, that's my happy place. But what was I actually distorting in all of that? My grandma died when I was 10. My aunts were drug addicts. All of these things that were happening, we would go over there. They would beat my mom's car in. They would, all of
my
those things
goodness.
that were happening to us.
And you're like, life's lovely.
Happy-go-lucky. I got made fun of all the time, because I wasn't good in school. Did that affect me at all? Nope. I just let it go. I just did my life. I was like, who cares who's around me or what you're saying? Like, and so I think of that and I'm like, I took the bad and shoved it so
you still distorted things.
I distorted everything just in a happy place.
Yeah.
I took it and was like,
Yep.
I'm good. I'm safe. I'm good here.
That's what I do
good.
now in my bubble.
And then says I have the ability to block out the bad or unpleasant and keep all the good memories. What memories of mine are not real? That's crazy. I still
so many
keep thinking it's crazy.
questions. So the next page, I think I'm way ahead.
Oh, no, we're good. I think.
Brothers and sisters, I do not consider myself yet to have taken hold of it. But one thing I do, forgetting what is behind and straining towards what is ahead. I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus. And then it asks, what does it mean to forget what is behind? And I highlighted, nowhere does it say ignore it or try to stop thinking about it. Forget what is behind, which is an action word. You can't not think about something subconsciously. If it's still in there, a better question is, are we letting the good things in our past affect us or the bad?
It's crazy. And I wrote here, so eye-opening. Why do we choose to hold on to the hurt when we have the ability to let go? We have that ability.
I don't know why we do that. Back a page. It says emotion kind of focuses you on a few details, but lets you ignore other details. And then it says confidence often goes hand in hand with accuracy, but when something is highly emotional, they often get separated.
Why? Like that.
It's
so much. It's so much. You say it hurts and you say that you're scared.
Yeah.
Because you have a lot of things that you hold on, you know what I'm saying? And I say, whoa, what was I doing in my brain that just made me... So then when this is funny because when I realize as an adult, life is not always hunky-dory and great and good, it hurt. And then I was like, oh, wow, those doors have been open and I don't like what I'm experiencing because I never had to experience that as a kid.
Yeah. I still see you do that sometimes when things get too serious. You're like, nope.
Oh,
Nope.
absolutely.
I'm getting on the table now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna dance.
I can't allow. There is just something inside of me that says, put me in my happy place.
Yeah.
And my happy place comes with music and dancing. And that's really funny that you say that, though.
I still see it. Yeah.
When I was a kid, my memories, oh, wow, this is really weird. At Lake Erie, because we had a trailer and a boat up there, every weekend we danced and sang like all night long, Friday and Saturday evenings. And I do that. So I'm like, what in the world? Like, that's like my happy place. Like, that's where I want to be.
Right.
Like, dancing, singing. It's crazy.
So one more thing here. So I'm not a huge Lord of the Rings fan.
Yeah,
I
same.
fall asleep every time.
Same.
But I know who Smeagol is.
Yeah, same.
Now, I've never watched the movie, so I didn't know he was Gollum and was happy and lived this wonderful life, but then this obsession destroyed him and he looks like this little creepy man, like hunched over,
It's so scary.
sick, and because of all his insecurities, it made him that way. So holding on to something you're not supposed to hold on to makes you look and act like that. I don't want to look like Smeagol.
You don't.
But I could.
Well, we all could.
I think that we do inside.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like that's.
But his body was showing
his
him
body
the signs that something was
And just
off.
think about this lady who wrote this book with her husband, and she was bedridden. What did she look like before? Like the sadness, all of that was taken over on her.
So I was going to say the same thing. I don't watch Lord of the Rings, but I highlighted this whole section. It says, even his body made it clear that something was way off. Although he knew it was the ring that distorted his mind and life, he wasn't willing to let go of his precious. It became who he was, and without it, he saw no hope. Holding on to something you are not supposed to hold on to makes you look and act like that. Don't take my sickness, trauma, past away from me. It's precious to me. This makes me who I am. But is that what makes you who God created you to be? And it took me back to previous chapters where Jesus asked the man at the well, or by the pool, do you want to get well?
Thank you for listening to a production from Family Simple Media and the CSW Podcast. Follow, like, and subscribe at CSW Podcast on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
Yeah. Kelly! That's a tick.
Okay.
Well, as we talk about memories, that one happening with all of the senses involved. That was lots of sound.
Wow.
Lots of touch. I didn't smell anything. We saw it.
Guys.
We didn't eat it.
Did you
No,
flush
I didn't
it?
taste
I did.
it.
I killed it and flushed it.
Yeah.
I'm traumatized.
Wow, that was a lot. It was a lot in our very deep conversation. But you're
I took
okay.
a shower.
Yes.
I felt something. I scratched the back of my head and I felt this thing. I pulled it out. A big fat tick.
Yeah.
Why
it
are
was
you-
a little skinny tick, but Crystal remained.
Usually ticks
It
can be
wasn't
small.
fat, for sure.
It was just a big tick.
Yeah, it was a big tick. It wasn't a baby.
It wasn't- it didn't suck
when
my blood yet.
I
not
crushed
suck
it,
your
it
blood.
didn't
Have blood in
Yeah.
it.
It did not have blood in it.
Crystal remained calm. Kelly screamed like I don't think I've ever heard her scream before.
I wish I had a video. She was up on top of the couch.
I thought about it, but I didn't have my phone.
Oh, you could just.
And
always
I just
hit
sat
my-
there and laughed like a good friend would.